Okay, I'm here with Nick and Rick, and we are playing Tabletop Racing World Tour. We're getting a demo of how the game works. We're playing on PlayStation 4. Tell us, what are we doing right now?
Well, Rick's having a quick go at the Supercar junkyard trial. This is a combat race with the top end cars in the game. You can see that he's picking up weapons here. Hopefully, he's going to keep hold of this. Ooh, just missed him. So there's a whole range of weapons in the game that you can supercharge as well and turn into super weapons. So you have rockets and mines, and you have one of our favourite weapons we've ever done, which is the frostbite. And it turns everybody into an ice cube, and they can't steer, and they end up falling off the end of the track. It's really good fun, very satisfying when you hit multiple cars with it at the same time. Each of the weapons as well has a sort of multiple ways of using it. You can take a missile and you can shoot a mine out of the way. You can use an EMP to defend against an incoming missile. So there's this kind of rock paper scissors element to all the weapons and how you can counter each other. He's currently racing around on the junkyard racetrack. I know there's 5 tracks in the full game, of which there's also four routes on each one. This one's route C. There's an extension route to this that'll form Route D, and so there's 20 circuits for the track in total. There's 12 cars that come with the default track, and there's a DLC pack on its way with 4 extra ones. There's also an extra circuit in that same pack as well, and so there's a lot to play. It ends up at this speed. Obviously, it starts a bit slower and a bit easier to play, but this is one of the tougher races that Rick's hammering his way out. What's he in second place at the moment? Just 1 lap to go, and look at the gap. He's got four corners. No, he's not going to do it. It's going to be a second place this one, I'm afraid, Rick. What else do I tell you? Well,
what can you tell us about the origins of the game? Because it's there's some history to it, isn't there?
There is. It was. I mean, we 3 of us in my old flat, just as an indie team, did a mobile game called Tabletop Racing, and it's available at the moment, free and premium, on the App Store and on Google Play and on Amazon Store as well, even Amazon Underground, and it's done very, very well. I think we're just about to hit 10 million downloads at the moment, but obviously mobile hardware is quite limiting on what you can do and what you can do at 60 hertz. Although it did run at 60 hertz, it was really well done. But we wanted more dynamic environments. We wanted more design in the racetracks, and we thought, well, why don't we go and talk to Sony about bringing it to PS4? And they saw a demo of it and what the new ideas and the gameplay were, and they absolutely loved it. So they signed it up, and here we are. We're launching on PS4 next month.
Okay, we're playing a new mode now. What's this one?
Mode. So this one, you've got a combo drifting around corners. Keep it going for as long as you can. There's like a little period in between where you can bank them. So there you go. I just managed to really stuff that one and hit the side, which means that I lost those combo. So you've got to try and keep it going for as long as you can and build it up.
I'm gonna let you drift in peace, and I'm gonna talk to Nick.
It's almost impossible to talk and drift at the same time, and I'm sure any racing driver will tell you it's probably best to concentrate. Yeah, but that's one of the modes. There's obviously, I think there's 6 or 7 game modes. You've got combat race, you've got a pursuit race where there's one guy starts halfway around, like a cycling velodrome race. Someone starts on the opposite side of the track, and you've got to catch up and smash into them before the clock runs out. We've also got the hot lap one, where hot lap means you've got 90 seconds to put in your best lap. There's some deeper sort of design later on in the game where, even though in hot lap most of the pickups are turbos, there's special events where we bend the rules a little bit. So there's a hot lap event where all the pickups are rockets, which means supercharging one of them, blasting a shortcut hole out of some of the geometry, and then making the 3-star time. Otherwise, it's actually impossible. So you have to have a deeper understanding of the track design, a deeper understanding of the weapon system, and also know how to drive at full pelt as well. So there's quite a lot to it. It looks like a simple game, and then you realise that there's quite a lot of devious design underneath it. You can thank Rick for that.
So with rockets being in a game, Obviously, there's a lot of potential for stitching up your friends. What multiplayer options have you built into this?
At the moment, we're concentrating on 8-player network multiplayer, so anyone can play against anybody, but you get a full screen to yourself. We want to see what the audience reaction is and what they want after this, because obviously we're planning on supporting this for some time afterwards, but it launches with 8-player network play. It is ruthless on with the weapons on. The level of understanding of how each weapon works and where is best to use it on each circuit, bearing in mind things like the frostbite, if you just fire it on a straight, it makes no difference because you don't lose speed. What you've got to do is get them to fall off the track. That's when you get an advantage out of it. But then you got all the other elements in there. You've got the mines, which you can use to drop to counter missiles. You can use the missiles. You can use the rockets to shoot mines out of the way. You can use EMPs to defend against both rockets and missiles if you can time them correctly. And you can also clear mines out of the way with those. Frostbite is pretty hard to defend against. Actually, I'm not sure it's got a defense. It's a tough weapon, but it's hard to aim as well. If you the way we've got it on this game, which we didn't have in the first game, there's obviously extra weapons, but one of the things we've done with this is added the element of super weapons. So about halfway through the game, I think after the third championship, super weapons are unlocked, and that allows you now to not just pick up the first bubble, but go to a second bubble and supercharge it. So if you supercharge it, it allows you to not only cause more mayhem and hit more people with the same weapon, it also allows you to change the racetrack. So you can blow certain objects out of the way. They're glowing, they let you know where they are. It's not just like a random mystery thing. And you can blow extra holes in the shortcuts and stuff. And then that's where multiplayer kind of comes into its own. He who understands the weapons and understands the track design to the best degree will win the race virtually every time. The longer you play it, the more you learn about it. It just keeps giving. It's more to it than first meets the eye. It looks like a simple kind of kart racer, but it's got a lot more to it.
And there's progression in there as well, so you can update your cars and add stuff. Tell us about that.
Yeah, you've got a full garage on there where you can tweak all the. We had this in the first game. You could tweak all the cars, and it was kind of one-way ticket on the first game. Once it was fully tuned, it was fully tuned. But on this, you can refine it a little bit as well. You can detune it. So you might want to, if you wanted a better drift score, you might want to overpower the engine and then tone down the handling and then put the drift wheels on. And that's actually the best balance for keeping it under control, not getting too fast. Drift mode's not about top speed. It's all about, the highest score. They don't care. There's no lap counter in drift mode. It's just about keeping the drift going and keeping it under control. So having it on full tilt and everything all maxed out, it doesn't really work. You need to tone some bits back a little bit. So you can tune it a bit. The garage is also where you pick up your weapon wheels. Weapon wheels is fairly unique to. In fact, weapon wheels are unique to tabletop racing. You get a particular type of special wheel, and this is what the second controller down on the left-hand side. Where your weapons show up. Well, on that side, you'll get your wheel weapons show up. When you've got special weapons on, like special wheels on, like shield wheels or let's have a think. Boing wheels as well. Boing wheels give you a jump, which means you can jump over bits of geometry and jump into shortcuts and stuff. But every time you use them, they have like a recharge time on them, normally about 35 to 45 seconds. So you can only use them maybe twice a race on a long race. So you have to cherry pick exactly how to use them, where to use them, and where's best to do it, right? The shield wheels are brilliant. They basically can defend the lead very, very well. But they've got quite a long recharge time on it. And one of my favourite wheels in the game is called the Peace Bomb wheels. And what that does is when you trigger it, anyone who's holding a weapon and ready to fire it strips them of their weapons. And it also kills all active weapons in the scenery. So anyone leaving mines around or... the only thing it doesn't counter is the acid bath, which is just like a toxic puddle. There's nothing you can do about that apart from jump over it or stay around it, right? So not every weapon's got a counter, but there's a nice balance between... and it takes a while to learn. It's not obvious straight away that you can use a turbo to go through an acid bath. So there's a counter that isn't really a counter. You still suffer the fact that you went through the acid bath, but there's a way of doing something about it. Turbos are a bit of an exception to the rule because they're not really a weapon, but you can use them to recover from a weapon attack after you've been hit, and you get that slowdown period. So you can basically shorten the slowdown period to 0 by hitting the turbo straight away. So Rick's here racing around the Chop Shop. This is one of the circuits in there that's based around a kind of automotive theme, like an old garage workshop.
How did you settle on the different designs? What was it that kind of steered you in that in different directions?
There's a bunch in there. I mean, they exist for different reasons. One of them was we've got the luxury kind of cruise yacht ship thing. I mean, I'm a big F1 fan, and we were thinking about trying, how do we do like a mini Monaco type thing? And we said, well, no, that doesn't fit with TTR at all. But why don't we do, the tabletop racing on a sort of luxury picnic on a yacht in Monaco Harbour, So that's the way we kind of spun it instead. And then we've got like the junkyard one was one of the first levels we built, and it's great junkyards because you can just put any objects together and you can make any shape track you want. Then we have the opposite of that, which is quite strict kind of design around things like Yo Sushi, where it has to still look like a functioning restaurant. I mean, it's a deal we've done with them to say, look, we love your brand, we love those little conveyor belts and the bowls coming around. We want to rebuild that for you. And that was one of the, making that look like a functional restaurant but actually be a functional racetrack is quite an interesting design challenge. It comes with some compromises, but the overall race is actually just a more technical circuit more than anything. The nice thing is, and this is one of the hardest things we've had to tackle, because there's dynamic objects in the gameplay, you also have to carry them through into the network game. And of course, every object that's now moving and in the scene has to be treated like a car. So yes, it's 8-player, but it's also 8-player with dynamic objects flying around all over the place. When you get the little conveyor belts going around with the katsu, with the little bowls on them with the sushi in them, they're all happening on everyone's machine in real time as well. It's a lot of network traffic, but it just retains the identity of that circuit really well. We just wanted to capture all that.
Okay, so it's coming to PlayStation 4. That much we know. Tell us when and what the plan is post-launch.
The plan is that we're going to launch on PlayStation 4 in May. We're currently in QA at the moment. We don't know when we'll be out of QA, but we're just enjoying the fact that it's done and it's playable. It's really good fun. I mean, the reaction here we've seen at the show has been absolutely phenomenal. Everyone's wanting to play it. And so after that, we're free to put it onto Steam and Xbox. We don't have a schedule for those just yet. We want to just get the PS4 one out there, get that playing well. I think the Steam one will come quite quickly, and I can't give you a date on the Xbox one. That's all.
Well, thank you very much for your time, and look forward to playing the finished game.
I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, cheers.